Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we got ourselves a track from an act named Cody Miles titled I'm the Man, featuring product of concept7. If we switch over to here, we got ourselves the official music video on YouTube. Apparently this is the first official single off of the upcoming album titled Houndstooth, so that's cool. We're going to listen through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go, what do we got? Straight into it.
I'm the man, I'm the main event. You don't understand what kind of game this is. Take a shot, call me Jameson. I came to play and I play to win. I got my army right behind me and a gang of kids. Got my girl right beside me like Invader Zim. I'm a symbol, I symbol, I'm simple. Call the RT like Avengers assemble. I'm the truth and my crew are slaying fiends. Your belly used like your Super Saiyan 3. Raise the roof, no the roof is raising me. And you better move cause the troops are saying things. I'm the one that you came to see. Welcome to the club like okay at ease. Come to the show, better pay the fee. Cause your boy's breaking bad like a AMC.
Fantastic. I just love the adjustment of those break beats going into that break there. Dynamically, it's fantastic.
So I hate to say it, for me there's a better path to power. It's not love. Yes,
keep the main thing and maintain level of boss status and while I'm at it, get a lot accomplished, but I'ma need some accomplices. You know what they say about common sense. Don't mistake my confidence for arrogance. I got a partner in this marriage and it's awesome, plus the best of friends I got. I'm in a competition, girl, stop, listen, look, I'm just a number 2 pistol dissing on a composition, boy.
I'm in the image of God, that's what he made us in. Don't scuff the boots, that's a gator skin. I'm a troubadour, ask what was true before. Y'all were wearing masks and act like damn luchadors. Easy, I'm sitting on the X like Twitter is Kobe, the ODB, the old dirty Baptist. No geriatrics, ask for the casket, no Barry Hatchets.
No, the production is really solid as well.
I still sag my pants, your mom's my accoutrement. That's how you found out you got acute trauma. I laid out with that hoochie ma. We got 2 kids trying to make that. I don't know the letter, but I play the key. And I know the sheet music, and I read you A to Z. My mama thinks I'm sharp, but I think it's A to Z's. Cause I make them say, like a master.
No, solid effort. Really like the audiovisual experience. Very effective. I like this, the color grading, the black and white aesthetic to a lot of it. If not the whole thing, actually, it's very interesting. We're going to talk about this track more in the conclusion. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Cody Miles titled I'm the Man, featuring product concept7. In this section, we're going to provide an overall song analysis of everything from lyrics and vocals all the way through to studio production, as well as any applicable constructive critique, and then finally, my general thoughts from a listener's perspective. But first of all, what do we think this track is about? I think effectively it's both these musicians' stake in their individual claims at being the man, you know, like I like some of the wordplay, you know, talking about how common sense and how it isn't so common, the pop culture references to Super Saiyan 3 as well as the Avenger as a symbol, etc. I dig that. It's nice and playful. It's got a bit of a sense of humor to it. You know, keep the main thing and maintain. You know, the wordplay, the phrasing, the stanzas are solid, the groove and the flow. And I know I'm just like putting out sort of terms at this point, but it's just we cover the fundamentals really well. It's one thing to be able to get the words through clearly, but both Cody Miles and produkt, they both handle their time on the mic. They've got distinct vocal textures and timbres which allow you to really sort of understand both them sounds better, but also their individual perspectives, and it makes for a more interesting listening experience when you have that the difference in that main lead. I think also the us versus them mechanic of them both, going against each other in ping pong was kind of neat. Eventually I think Cody wins, but it's nice to show produKt kind of getting their comeback at that point, in that halfway point there. I think it was neat to have that feature go for the first half of the second verse there. It's totally normal for the main sort of like feature or the main vocalist to have the first verse. But I think especially if this is the first single, you kind of want to be, if you're not already familiar, you want to be introduced to Cody. And if you are familiar, you want to be reintroduced to sort of get the caliber of what the album is going to be like. But it was just a really smooth transfer back to Cody and into that, on the halfway point of that second verse. And I dig the overall sort of kind of like chemistry between the two of them. They work really well within this collaboration. And effectively, you just get the idea, the presence that not only are they very comfortable on the microphone, but also anyone that they come up against is going to have a really terrible time in terms of a rap battle anyways. I'm the one that you came to see in that breakbeat part. We've got that aura about us. We're aura farming. Structurally, 2 minutes 43, very sort of like effective use of time. There's no filler within it. We have these chorus and verse transfers that are seamless. We go immediately into the hook at the start. There's absolutely no hesitation into getting the listener interested. You have the setup in the video of themselves getting ready to play the game, so that makes total sense. And there's a catchy sort of rhythm. There's a catchy rhythm to that. And it's a nice sort of like accompaniment to a lot of what's going on with those drum samples there, with a nice graininess to them. They sound sort of vintage and old school with the distortion and kind of crushing on them. The way that they're compressed as well. They sound a little bit claustrophobic, but they also sound heavier because of that. There's a nice mixture of different closed and open hi-hats, which kind of makes me kind of feel that they might have actually gotten those drum tracks recorded and then done the production work and post on themselves, which is really cool. I like the adjustment with the drums actually between those sort of verse and chorus parts and the bridges, again with the transfers in the bridge, just allowing the speed of those breakbeats with those 16 to 30 seconds there, just to be such an intense kind of flavor at that stage, for the vocals to maybe sort of like slow down a little bit to allow more room for that to breathe. It's just a great sort of bit of tension before you go back into that hook. So we play with the intensity of the drums and they play off of the vocals quite nicely. I like the adjustment of different grooves there. We handle ourselves well in tempo. And having in the interlude a lack of drums, or rather far less of it anyways, allows us to sort of have things float for a bit before we go back into familiar territory of the main groove. And it's just being aware of needing things to be a little bit kind of more still occasionally. And it's not just about the groove. We work with the bass line in a Phrygian mode. We go with the first and then the flat second. We oscillate between those. The extended kind of stabs, or the kind of, those brass extensions there, or those synth extensions, the bam, 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 they've got this nice sort of tail there, which makes them sound quite dramatic. But the bass is a consistent kind of sizzle on the low end that I think is a nice foil to some of the more sort of kind of punchy elements of the drums, the vocals, etc. It's not trying to interfere whatsoever with what's happening in the mid or upper ranges. It does have presence because of the high end on the sizzle itself though. It just sounds feisty and feral and ready to throw down. There's occasional turntablism, kind of reminding me of a lot of hip hop from like the 90s and early 2000s. There's siren sounds and other elements there that kind of make it sound sort of edgy and raunchy, but I kind of dig that as well. Makes sense for the genre, style of music that we're doing, the kind of era that we're calling back to. There's sudden sort of vinyl stops as well, like the record stopping. And yeah, honestly, I do feel, I don't know enough about the genre to be like, hey, I want to go to specific, like Beastie Boys comes to mind or something like that. I'm not quite sure, I could be wrong there, but that does kind of remind me a little bit of that kind of music. And that nice kind of E as like a unison note go after the, the interlude, going up from the interlude into that last chorus with the final sort of go of it, and then the snare fill at the end. It's just a nice sort of way of ending the track. Honestly, it's a great use of 243. No complaints about that whatsoever. There's lots of other ear candy-ish parts, and I feel like there's other parts I missed, but that's the main elements there, and I feel like they work quite well as a combined concept. Thematically, minor-oriented use of the Phrygian is great. With this kind of music, the subject matter sort of throwing down and asserting dominance. You're not really going to go for a happy major-ish kind of angle. And even though there are extended notes on some of those sort of pad parts there, it's not in a way where it's trying to soften or soothe it. It's more of a tense, dramatic kind of utterance than anything else. Yeah, ultimately, you know, thematically makes sense. A not out of place, solid performance. Studio recording, mixing, and mastering. Really happy with this. Sounds commercial grade off the bat. Really sort of like stoked with the quality of the vocal production in particular. There's just a nice sort of tone to it, crisp and clear, and the microphone, great use of EQing, compression, etc. Adjustment and filtering of vocal takes to make them subs or sides or accompaniments. Both vocalists' voices are clear in the mix and easy to follow along to. The basses, drums, sirens, synths, etc., the turntablism, anything else there, at sirens, etc. Anything that's included within this seems like it's part of the ether. The music surrounds you in the headphones. Things are nicely sort of stacked within the frequency spectrum and the stereo field, like no weird resonant frequencies. Things aren't arguing with each other for attention. There is dynamic range from like a compositional perspective, not from a production perspective, but we want a tight sounding mix with this. We're not trying to choke it. It's nice and loud, bit of pumping because the side chaining of the kicks and stuff like that. Bass compression limiting is handled. No applicable constructive critique for me. Genuinely, I feel like, again, if it was longer than this, you might need to add a different sort of like layer or direction to it, but we had an adjustment or shift of pace with that interlude section outside of the 3 other bits that kind of oscillated beforehand. So we definitely were understanding. Again, we didn't take the listener's attention for granted. Ultimately, just from a general listener's perspective, just really happy to be listening to music that makes me feel like I can take the musicians seriously. I don't know if that comes across correctly, but sometimes I listen to this kind of music and it seems like people are sort of maybe trying a little bit too hard. Here, they've got the skills and the vocal and oral capacity to be able to sort of put a sense of legitimacy behind it. I wish everyone involved the best of luck in future, both for the single and the upcoming album. But thank you very much for watching my review of this track from an actor named Cody Miles titled I'm the Man, featuring product concept7. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.